So now let's see how we can create deployment selectively, right? So we have three clusters, GKE, EKS, and AKS. To enable that, first we have to create cluster selectors, right? So cluster selectors are nothing but the groups that you create. Right? So we are going to create two groups. One is non-prod, and this works on the labels, right? So let's call env prod. So we are sorry env non-prod. So we are creating a non-prod, right? So this is our first cluster group. You can say cluster selector non-prod, and the other one we can create is the prod. Let's call it env prod. So now once the cluster groups are created, we can place our clusters right in these groups. So for that we have to create cluster labels. Now here one of the important thing is the cluster, the names which you have given them when you onboarded the clusters, that is the name that we need to use here. Right? So this label should match with whatever the cluster groups were created with. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place GKE and EKS in a non-prod. So GKE gets placed in a non-prod. EKS one gets placed in non-prod, and AKS gets placed in prod. So what this means is if I now create any object and I tag them with the cluster group, that is where it will get created. So now let's go to the namespaces and let's create two more namespaces now. Let's call prod. Now in this case, let me select a prod selector, right? There is no need to label or anything. So what we are saying is we are going to create a prod namespace, but with a prod selector. So in this case, this namespace should only be created in Azure, right? So let's submit this, and let's create a non-prod one, and we will create it with non-prod selector, right? So this will only go to the non-prod cluster, so which are our GKE and EKS, right? So let's submit this. So too many things created here. Let's commit them all. All right. So this is synced now. Again, it should not take too long. But now in this case, when we query the namespaces, we should see the prod created in AKS. So let's go to the AKS straight away. Right. So you see the prod namespace here. You do not see non-prod in here. Right. Now let's go and query EKS. Right. Now here we should see non-prod, but we should not see prod namespace. Right. So we see a non-prod, but here we do not see prod namespace. Right. This is how we can be selective with the deployments. Right. We can place our clusters in different groups, and any deployment which goes to those groups will get deployed on those clusters. Next, we will look at how we can deploy multi-tenant clusters, right? So how we can be selective with deployment to different namespaces. So far we have seen how we can deploy to all clusters or to a group of clusters, but what about be selective with the namespaces within the cluster? That's what we'll see in the next video. Thanks for watching.